Hey, welcome to Munro Live. I'm John. I am here at Autel Energy in Greensboro, North Carolina. To my right is Ethan. To my left is Dario and Matthew. And they work here, and I'm going to let them tell their story about the business.
Yeah, go ahead, Ethan.
Yeah, so Ethan Lippman. I've spent a good amount of time in the electric vehicle charging business. Started out my career in Silicon Valley, working at companies like Hewlett-Packard. Worked for many years in the solar power business, and then joined ChargePoint in 2017, went over to EVgo after that. And here at Autel, I'm focused on building out Autel's business and working with a lot of the utilities and fleets as we really expand our business in the United States.
Matthew.
Matthew Buchanan, over production and the commissioning portion of Autel. Basically, the customization, actually from start of production up until the end of commissioning, as far as customization of the chargers, adding NACS cables, anything like that, it involves, or it actually goes through me. So I've been here for 2 years, looking to make Autel successful.
Thank you guys for being here. I'm Dario Pagani. I lead marketing in North America for Autel Energy. And we are here at our facility in Greensboro. What we'll look through today is probably the first view of this building and what we do here. We have been active here for a few years, but this is the first time that we're going to be able to tell that story. As a matter of fact, at Autel Energy, obviously our DNA is in automotive diagnostics. That's where we started in North America. And, it was just a natural segue to us to get into EV charging, especially because that handshake between vehicles and stations is so important to make sure that charge goes well and the customer has a good experience. As a matter of fact, when you look at real life, like you're in front of us, right? This is a diorama of what an auto dealership, would look like. Let's just say that all the dealership that sells EVs, they're going to have front of house type of needs with customer parking, as well as inventory parking, and then they're going to have, the service bay type of environment. The showroom. You're going to have vehicles displayed in the showroom with a home charger, as well as anything else that is quick. Kind of on the route type of charging with the fast chargers displayed over here. So you have at least 3 different scenarios to where you're going to have different types of drivers coming by and needing to use stations or needing to interact with any of them. And that kind of reflects what Autel does. So we are we design and manufacture EV charging equipment. Anywhere from single-family residential to high-power fleet applications. And the way that we operate, being primarily a hardware manufacturer with a strong, background in software as well, is, fit into the ecosystem in a capacity that it benefits the ecosystem itself. So we play to our strengths, which is hardware and software. However, when it comes to a go-to-market, we primarily work through established third-party or CPP-compliant software providers. That way that we preserve customer choice, and we also preserve good customer experience.
Nice. Did Autel get their start back in 2007 with the diagnostic side of the business?
2004.
2004. TPMS, ADAS, things of that nature?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's a power piece and a data piece. So when I think about Autel, they already had the data piece. And moving into power is super important, but communications with the vehicles, Autel really already had that core competence.
That's right. As a matter of fact, if we want to move along here, actually we can start on this side. This is basically our level 2 charger. This serves both the single-family residential and the commercial space. So it's a same platform that can be deployed in both use cases. Then kind of moving over, we're staying with the level 2, a screenless, so it's a little more friendly to fleets. People that the point of failure with the screen, and also they only need to tag in and out with an RFID card. So you're going to see, a couple of different options for that.
That's nice.
And kind of moving over to the fully, full-featured commercial level 2 station. This is a 19.2 kilowatt 80 amp unit. So when you're looking at this, you're looking at something that is going to be interacting with, the public, all day. So cable management, payment terminal, having different options for, being able to pay for the charge, as well as, to provide feedback to the site host, as far as like how the chargers are doing, if they're healthy, how much the utilization they have, and collecting all that data. So this is where you will see the customization start with, customized UI depending on the software provider that we're integrating with, as well as in level of cosmetic, customizations you may see out in the field. You may have seen, stations branded to different providers depending on who is the site host.
It's a good presentation too. I mean, a lot of thought went into the user interface and just the pure aesthetics of this one and the ones you've already showed us too.
There's some modularity too in terms of, the regulations require payment terminals. Not everybody loves that, but Autel really tries to meet the market where it is. For certain applications, you need that. Yeah. And, you can also see over here, there's a version of that. Our chargers can be on wheels, for example. There's a lot of different ways that Autel, we really have a full product line that goes all the way up to some much bigger, faster gear.
Yeah, for instance, even looking at these units, like these are available as wall mounted, as baller mounted. They're available with cable management or without. So the configuration is really up to the customer. That goes from a hardware standpoint and a software standpoint.
Nice.
I think that's partly the claim to fame for Autel has been being that flexible and adaptable to the customer needs. So this is actually one of our more popular units. This is a DC fast charger. This is, classic configurations, up to 240 kilowatts. So you're going to find this in a couple of different, use cases. This kind of runs the gambit, anywhere from, commercial, just, gas station model type of deployment to fleets to, sometimes we'll have workplaces that want to do a hybrid deployment with a bunch of level 2s and a couple of DC fast chargers for those people that didn't have the option of plugging in early in the morning, but they need a charge before going home.
Yeah. Nice.
And this is a unit that you can see that has CCS cables, but we have, to the customization point, Autel was early on putting the NACS connector on there now, J3400.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I saw recent pictures of a unit that went out that double NACS connector, which is you're starting to see more and more of those units hit the parking lots, so to speak. And that, as Ethan mentioned, that is a 40 kilowatt DC fast charger that can be baller mounted or it can be wheel mounted. This has has a lot of attention because, as you can see in the back, this is actually something that you may appreciate, is the fact that there is a plug. So it's something that you can quickly deploy and connect.
Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, any type of temporary sites or just the ability to move the station around a warehouse, for instance, makes a big difference.
Hardware goes to the car doesn't go to the hardware.
That's right.
One thing I've learned over my career is it's not all about just getting charging in the way that the manufacturer might think. Yeah. The customers really tell us what they need. For example, some sites in this exciting space of self-driving robo-taxi, these guys are opening up new markets, but you might need to put in temporary charging before you put in permanent charging. Utilities take the amount of time that utilities take. And that's not to really beat up the utilities, but if somebody's working with their timeline in the startup way of a self-driving robo-taxi company, they might want something like this a little quicker to get them going.
it's nice. Company that listens to the voice of the customer.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really what it's all about. Somebody asked me earlier this year what my prediction is for this year for EV charging. And I'd say that probably for the first time and since I've been in this industry, so for about a decade, we are in a position to exceed customer expectations instead of trying to meet them. I've been used to trying to manage expectations in my career in this industry. And I think that we're now in the position to finally exceed expectations and show what's possible.
Right. So many times, we're about ready to look at the factory, his production area, but so many times in the factory, you see product that's built right? Can build it right every day, but at the end of the day, you don't build the right thing. And what I mean by that last statement, building the right thing, is listening to the voice of the customer, and now you're building what the customer actually wants. And your product flows through the manufacturing facility, out through the door, into the consumer world, and they use it right off the bat.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, it comes down to product market fit. If you make the right product for the market and it fits, then they're going to buy it.
Absolutely.
So, shall we?
Okay.
Let's go look at the cool stuff.
Yeah. All right, welcome back. We just left the showroom. It was a really nice showroom, a lot of good things to see. Now we're in the production area, the facility where these guys actually make what we saw in the showroom. And we're going to get into this right now. And to my left is Preston. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself in a minute. You two again, and you two again. And then they have Ethan and Matthew. They're going to talk to us about everything that happens between inbound and outbound. So all the different things that go into putting all the parts and pieces together. Please introduce yourself.
Preston Lashley, Quality Manager for North America for Autel. Been in quality for almost 20 years now. So a very fun job. You get into all the details and the compliance obligations and
Sure do.
the fun stuff that most people don't like.
Yeah.
I love it.
Very important.
Absolutely. So when goods come in, either for BA products, for North American parts that are the chargers that are made here in the US, everything comes in these doors over here to our right. It's staged in our incoming inspection area for my folks to come out of the lab, get the parts, and begin the inspection process. All parts that come in from our suppliers here in the United States are inspected. We do have a C=0 sampling plan.
Okay.
So they come in, then we take them into the lab and begin the inspection process.
Can you explain briefly what C=0 means to the audience for those that might not know? Break it down.
Sure. So basically, based upon the number of parts that we receive in, you have a certain number of parts that you're inspecting. However, if you run into a part that you're going to reject, if it's bad, then you can stop, don't inspect anymore, and reject the whole lot.
The whole lot, yes.
Yes, sir.
You have to reach a certain maturity level to get to C=0, don't you?
True.
Okay. Well, good. 100% C=0?
Yes, sir. For
Awesome.
parts made in North America, yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
And we'll head over here, and I can actually give you a quick tour of our lab.
How many people do you have in the QC department?
In quality, currently I have two. I have a quality supervisor and a quality technician.
Okay. So this, we're talking in terms of IQC, incoming quality control. So you're also looking at IPQC, OQC,
Yes, sir.
everything along the way.
That is correct. Come on in the house here.
All right, we're in the house.
And this is our quality lab. It's still a work in progress as we go along. We did recently just purchase a Keyence VL700. This does make inspecting parts much more efficient. It's a 3D scanner.
How does this work?
You put the part in there and you scan the part and you compare it to a model. Do a model comparison, it'll give you a heat map.
Heat map. Is it fast?
It is very fast. I'll put it to you this way. One part that we have, a bus bar, that would take a manual inspection process 1 hour to do one part. Mm-hmm. This will do it in less than 5 minutes.
Wow, huge time savings.
So it will help tremendously with efficiency.
Very nice.
And then once they are accepted parts, they go back out into our raw material warehouse where they get pulled to get ready to go into production once the work order is issued and the parts are ready to go out on the floor.
How much material do you store in inventory before Matthew gets it at the start of his line?
I can't answer that question, honestly, as far as how much we have, but we do have quite a few parts out there.
Maybe a week's worth, 2 weeks worth, a month's worth of production, something like
Yeah,
that?
maybe a little more, probably a good month or so.
Okay, all right.
And then back out.
Do you have a quarantine area where you, now that's quarantine, but do you have an actual fenced in area where you keep parts?
Actually, right there.
Oh, that whole area is?
No,
Not-
just
Oh.
the
Did you
roped
see
off
with
area.
the yellow?
Oh, the yellow, okay.
Yep,
correct.
that's all our
I see,
non-conforming material.
yep.
Keep them behind the fence. We do also have non-conforming areas.
Do you guys,
On the floor.
do you guys actually use the MRB methodology?
Yes, sir, we sure
Okay.
do.
All right. Well, that's good. You guys are highly organized then. I think
We
it's
try.
important to know for people watching this video that,
And with the ISO certification, you
Yeah.
do have to have certain things in place too for your quality management system.
yeah, it all starts with quality, right? You got to feed Matthew proper product,
Absolutely.
and he's got to be able to manage it throughout the system properly.
Yes, sir.
too. And
That
you're
is
right there,
correct.
bulldogging him along the way. That's awesome. That's
Probably
the way
a
you're going to
little-
get nice stuff
Probably a
that I
little
saw
too
out there.
much sometimes, but he's
Well, your
he's
quality,
used to
you're
it now.
supposed to, yeah.
Exactly. He's used to it now.
Always got to be nipping at the heels.
That's right.
But yeah, everything else you see in here is actual raw materials outside of the non-conforming.
Okay,
So that's picked before it goes to the production line for
Okay.
pre-assembly and actually installation.
now, Matthew, do you manage picking the product off the racking and putting it out?
So
onto
we
the floor?
create a work order. Basically, what happens is the work order gets picked or printed out and then picked by the associates in here. It's their goal to manage incoming and outgoing, basically receiving it in and then picking it and putting it for the production line. So, but it's all based off work orders. That's how we keep up with inventory, material numbers, all of that good stuff.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Yep.
So where is the start of the line?
so the start is actually over here to the left.
Okay,
And then it actually it'll start out as an empty cabinet. For example, this one right here is not empty, but it did start out as,
a lot of components
then-
in there.
right?
Do you also QC check the cabinets as they come in?
Yes, sir.
Look for
do.
dents and dings and stuff like that?
100% of those.
Okay,
We do not do a sampling plan when we are inspecting our cabinets when they come in.
okay,
Same thing for dispensers.
So, for example, this right here is our DC 640. It is 640 kilowatt charger. It's our high power cabinet. It can get modified to 480 or 320 just by removing the modules out of it. So
same size cabinet though.
Correct.
Well,
Yep.
that's smart. Fewer components than from a cabinet standpoint.
Yep.
This is the big beast right here.
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yep. And then over here you've got the dispenser of this charger or the cabinet. So
Could this also be called like a satellite unit?
no, because it's still linked to the cabinet. So this
Okay.
is your powerhouse,
Okay,
and then this one is your actual dispenser where the customers actually charge.
okay,
So, and these do have the capability of going from CCS1 to NACS as well.
okay,
And you have the option to do CCS1 on both, or NACS on one or the other, or NACS on both.
okay.
So we've made it very universal. So,
Now, how long does it take to get to this point? So the pallet pops in here. You've got the enclosure. It's run through quality control. Everything else that populates this, I'm guessing, has run through quality control too. But how long does it take to get it to this point for the big guy?
with all the quality inspections and everything,
You mean from an assembly point, or are you referring to when it comes in the door until
Well,
it actually gets here?
After you've checked it
Mhm.
and the parts are released to Matthew to put things together, how long does it take to get to this point?
For one, it is roughly 4 to 6 hours, if not a day.
Yeah, but it's about a day, usually
To do all this work?
6 to 8 hours.
Wow.
Yep.
How
'Cause
many?
you can have multiple people working on the same unit. Obviously, you usually have 2 on each side.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you actually have 2 sides to the unit.
Okay. Now I don't recall the other side the same as what we're looking at right here.
A little different.
A little different. Okay. What is different?
If you want to look,
Yeah,
We can open it up.
absolutely. I think people might want to know.
so this here is what all the modules are connected to, wired into, and then this one cabinet can power 8 dispensers at one time.
Okay.
So each connection will go here, goes through the ground to the dispenser, and then on the other side is the supply from the power source to the cabinet.
Okay. Hey, this is Ryan. He is the floor supervisor out here for production. I'm gonna turn it over to you, and you tell us what you do.
Yes, Ryan Gravely, production supervisor. Been working here about 1.5 years. So right now, we have 3 different models that we are working on. We have the DC40, which you see here. The team is working on basically finishing the assembly process for these right now, and assemble it step by step. And then at the end, we go through a production checklist where we go check our own work and go through all the different steps. I can check that. It's very comprehensive. The production checklist for the DC40 has 50 points. And what those checkpoints go through is to make sure that each component is installed properly and the torques are set to the right standard. And then after we get done with it, it gets passed on to quality so they can do checks also. Right now we have a small team, but they have done a great job of learning all the different machines. So they're cross-trained on working on every step through the process on all 3 model mixes. And where we can, they also are fluent in packaging, which is an assembly process later on. It's after test. So. And this is Kenya. He's our team lead. And then we also have associates under him, so he helps facilitate a lot of the training and improvements that we do out here.
Okay. So you guys are cross-trained, go through a certification program that says that they're cross-trained. That means they're able to move around. Someone goes on vacation, someone gets sick, need extra people on one particular unit. They're not afraid to jump in because they've been trained, certified. Very nice. Good solid work instructions. I have to repeat that again. You don't see a lot of that in a lot of these facilities, so that's good.
So we're here with Levi Smith, Autel Quality Supervisor. He was one of the first quality employees I do believe hired.
Oh yeah, started here back in October. Been working here since then, obviously. It's been a good experience so far. I mean, I'm in charge of doing the incoming quality check, the outgoing quality check, the IPQC, all of it. So
You're doing IPQC right now?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so IPQC is absolutely critical on the factory floor. Just as important as the IQC and the OQC, but you got to build the product in between proper.
That is correct, and safety and quality are basically on equal planes here.
And IPQC, we do 100% inspection on every unit that goes through the line.
How many items on your checklist? 200 and what?
200 to 300, depending on the model. So like this one here has 230. This is the DC fast. But whenever you get to like the high power, the big unit down there, the high power, it's 300 to 400. It's massive, massive. There's so many things that are connected to so many different things. We check every connection.
There's a lot of connections to check. There's just a lot of stuff in here. It's amazing. And you do a real good job of cable management. I mean, Ming
Ming Hao?
Hao?
Yep.
This is Ming Hao. He does the testing around here. He controls it, so I'm going to turn it over to you. And
Okay.
Ni hao, Ponyo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ming Hao Yang. I'm the on-site test engineer. Here is our testing equipment and the entire test area.
Can you explain kind of what you do, if it's
Sure.
not proprietary?
So, as you can see, this is our entire testing facilities, and we have our equipment lined up to do the testing per our process.
So from start to finish, a unit rolls in,
Mm-hmm.
you interface it with lab equipment to test functionality. How long does that take overall? Like, for example, this unit versus the unit over here.
Okay, so I can get through our entire process. This is our safety test. It is also called a HIPOT test in the industries. So we check for the insulation resistance and the grounding resistance and the dielectric withstands. Basically, we're checking the current leakage per se. So the testing process is set up to run from start to finish, no skipping. We test our units, every unit's 100%. And the process is set up to only allow you to run the test when the previous one is passed, so no skipping. The next test we conduct would be right in front of this computer. Currently we don't have a unit yet. We assign the firmwares, we assign the serial numbers.
So HIPOT firmware.
Yes.
Going back to the HIPOT test, what kind of voltage do you run through the units?
For the voltage, we follow the UL standard. The highest is up to 4200
Wow, okay.
volt.
Okay. So
And-
this is the firmware here?
It will be here,
Oh, okay.
where this gentleman is standing.
Okay.
This is actually our BMS testing stations. That's our BMS simulators. It acts like a car, so we can charge the simulated battery. And here we have our latest model, DH480. We are just currently doing tests on it for a customer. So what happened here is we can do a simulating testing, charging test to this simulated batteries before we move it to the load test, which is right those.
So HIPOT, BMS,
Firmware and BMS.
HIPOT firmware, BMS. Okay. What happens down here?
Here we have our functional test for our DC compact models and our DC fast model. This station is capable of conducting up to 240 kilowatt load tests. In the factories, we test the chargers at its highest capacity, as well as over voltage, under voltage, the electrical related testings on the units, and all those tests before it's just prepare for the unit 2 for this test. And keep moving. Here is all our high power testing stations. Here we have our auxiliary tests, which is for our high power main cabinets and dispenser testing. We do the firmware and the communication similar to the computer over there, but in here we have a dedicated station for the high power. It is a more complicated unit, and if you have seen it in the assembly lines, it's twice as large as the DC fast. Moving forward, once we run the unit through the auxiliary test for the high power, we run it through our high power aging test and normal load test. This entire functional test station is capable of conducting up to 640 kilowatts load. we conduct a full load test at the highest capacity. All the modules would be kicking in at that point.
Okay.
Um,
So you have a 640 kilowatt charger, right, that you make?
Correct. That's
So-
the high power that we make in the US.
So
Yes.
this matches that from a testing standpoint.
Correct.
Okay.
And the station is also able to test the DC fast, as you can see here. It's multi-purpose, but that one would not be able to test the high power because it's the limitation on the load. But this is apparently it's a higher load for the DC output.
Okay. How do you move these units from there to there to there to there down this
with
line?
a pallet jack, and
Okay.
for the high power, it gets very heavy once the module is put in. So we use a full lift. Yeah.
And then once everything passes your tests, it exits through this gate.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And the unit does not leave the cage until it's passing all the tests 100%, because we have a system in place to allow us to run automated tests as well as a control environment that is, again, we do 100% tests on every unit. So no skipping, no bypassing. System controls the process.
Okay. How do you track your progress through this area per unit? Is it computer?
Both computers and physical paper.
Okay.
On the computer, the server keeps track of the testing result of each unit.
Okay.
We have a local server as well as our server in HQ that we can see the status. And we have our MES, the manufacturing system, that allowed us to keep track of that as well. And in the meantime, we also have what we call traveler. Our operator would sign on it on the date, and as well as their signature, and make sure each test is finished. So our operators are able to see the real-time status on the paper, and our engineers and the production team and management team will see it on the server.
Okay. So the overall time in, test, time out, how much time is that per unit?
That would, based on the model,
The 640 kilowatt.
640 kilowatts, that would take an entire day.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So, hey guys, we are back with Matt and Ethan, and we're in the commissioning area. And really, this is the end of the line before packaging and before the package goes into the truck. So I'm gonna back away and let you two gentlemen talk about specifically what happens in this room, okay?
So basically here, the chargers come in once they get tested and everything, and then we customize it per the customer's requirements. So every customer that we have has specific requirements as far as, like, do we want a POS? Do we not want a POS? You can see these are missing at the moment, but we have a NAX cable that now goes on the A side, and CCS1 that goes on B side when customers want both. The reason we do that is because when a Tesla backs up, you don't want to back up over here to where the cable is going to have to go across the vehicle. So if you're over here, the back left of the vehicle, the cable's already there. So, but then the screensaver, we do customize the screensavers. We do actually flip the symbols to duplicate what's here. And then we can modify the kilowatt charger or the kilowatts. And if you click on it, you have the option, which my team, this is the way it comes, 2 options. Once we add the POS, then we'll activate it on the screen. And then most time we'll change the QR code to the customer's app to where that becomes an option through the customer's app. And then you also have the RFID version as well.
So when you look at all this and you see this in process, what I was hearing was, the equipment's not completely set up here. How long does it take to attach the right cable and go through that process?
Most of the time it's about 4 hours.
So it's customizable, and the software is customizable. When we look at the the software setup here, a lot of this, it's important to meet our customers where they are. The whole industry is transitioning to that North American charging standard. I volunteered with a group called CharIN that does interoperability testing, and it's really important as the industry evolves. So I'm super impressed that we can charge a Tesla because they control a lot of the market in the United States. So, are we actually getting to the point that these are leaving the facility with Tesla connectors?
Absolutely. So they'll leave the facility with the Tesla connectors. Also, some customers do like the dual NACs, and some customers just stick with the CCS1 options. But these also, before leaving the commissioning, they are tested on 4G and Wi-Fi. That way, if it goes in the ground, then we want it to be ready and usable. We don't want the troubleshooting. We don't want the mess of, just does this work or does that work or whatever. We want to set it up correctly, put it in the ground, and then the customer's satisfaction. So, and then it's also car tested as well. So, just to make sure everything is functional and working correctly.
So the ultimate goal here is, I mentioned this earlier before we start filming, is you're looking at this like buying a TV from Best Buy. You take the box home, you unbox the TV, you put the TV on the wall, you plug it in. You want that TV to be ready to rock and roll. Absolutely. As soon as you push the button on the remote, right? Absolutely. It doesn't get any simpler than that.
The less pain you can pass on to your customer. Nobody wants to follow a huge process to set it up. If you look at the next machine one over, you'll see that that one's got a customer's brand on it. They want to just install that thing. They don't want to put that label on. That label was put on here, correct? So in terms of software and commissioning, it's both, the software, what hardware that customer needs, and what the branding is that's going to be on the machine. Obviously, this one says Autel, but if our customer was ready charged, they're gonna, y'all put the labels on right here and get the software all ready for them, yeah?
Absolutely.
And from my perspective, that makes a huge difference looking at our customers, because from an installation perspective, we want to make it as easy as possible for the contractors to do the work of putting this equipment in the ground, in the field. And it's hard enough to do that when there's cars driving this way and people are texting you. If they can do more of that software configuration and get it all dialed in indoors right here, then it's easier for the end user and the installers and all of our partners to just get it fired up.
Absolutely. Yep. We don't only do the DC commissioning, we also do the AC as well over here on the table. We do the AC Ultras, really honestly any charger as far as AC Elites, the new AC Pros, the AC Singles, those also get pre-commissioned as well. Similar options as far as minus the POS. Some chargers get that and some don't. But the same options here apply to the AC chargers. So, and the screensavers, QR codes, things like that are still universal.
Nice. So. Hey guys, we have transitioned outside the building from Autel Energy. We're standing in the parking lot where they have an array of chargers, and this happens to be, what is this one? This is a 240?
It's a 240 kilowatt DC fast.
Okay, and they're going to demonstrate how it operates so that we all see how it works with this particular vehicle, which is a Tesla.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna grab the adapter here first, and we can make these chargers and deploy them in the field without an adapter, but as a lot of folks know, these adapters are handy to have in your car if you have a Tesla and you're charging on a non-Tesla charging infrastructure. Autel supports this completely, and as you can see, I tapped a card. I'm just gonna plug it into the adapter, and I'm just gonna select on the screen and plug it in. So most people know that when you get close here on On a Tesla, that door just opens right up. Plug her in and it should let us know here that it's going to be charging real quick. And so here you can see on the screen, linking to vehicle. It's going to do a couple safety checks. When you heard that click, that was a relay. And now we're
That's nice.
dispensing power.
As you can see, it's super easy for the driver to understand where they stand with the charge, state of charge, the speed, any level of charging fee. There's instructions on how to stop the charging if needed. It's very important when you pull up to a station to understand, first of all, how fast it's going to charge and how much it's going to cost me.
Yeah, yeah. So we can see the battery itself is 86%, right? According to the feedback from this.
Yeah,
screen.
one of the important things to consider is that obviously, as your viewers likely know, is that the fuller the battery, the slower the charge you're going to get, right? So when you get to the last 20-25% of charge, the charging curve is going to slow down significantly. The good news is that with our background in automotive diagnostics, just speaking to that vehicle for us is second nature. So we try to optimize that curve up to the very last kilowatt that we provide. So you don't have to worry about a charging curve that is too steep, meaning that you're going to go up really quickly and down really quickly. Instead, we want a nice, smooth curve so that you actually have, a better experience for more predictable charging rate, as well as a better experience for the vehicle that is not experiencing that kind of like up and down.
Yeah.
That is not going to do, good things for the battery.
No, batteries are like people. They want to go low and slow, especially at the last 20%.
Exactly. So, usually like what we tell our, drivers and customers is that, try to use DC fast chargers to about 80 to 90%, and depending on the battery technology, and then, plan on, on doing the lily pad approach and charge where you are, So yeah, I think that this is, good representation of the charging experience with the Autel charger.
Well, it's pretty easy. The entire process from removing the device and interfacing it with the vehicle and the button pressing. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. And again, it reminds me of buying a TV from Best Buy. It's just so simple.
Yeah, you have to make sure to connect it to the Wi-Fi.
So we got to have the Wi-Fi. So we're looking at a unit right now. And so from a marketing strategy standpoint, can you disclose what might be in the pipeline that you guys are working on now to further improve upon this wonderful unit?
Yeah, so if you look at the market currently, there are two major verticals that are growing like crazy. One is multifamily residential, with that everything that comes with it. So it's mostly level 2 AC charging, around 50 kilowatt, 50 amp. So when you think about multifamily residential, what do you need? You need access control, you need pricing, you need to accommodate for people visiting. So those are the three big things about it.
The hardware that we have here, you can see the software, which when we did that little demo, but also the hardware here, you saw it inside. It's worth giving this a tug to see the cable reach and what this really means. Because one of the stories that I think is really worth focusing on is every single car is different. There's not gonna be a standard likely for where the charging port is on the car, where the charging port is on a truck. Every vehicle is gonna need a charging port, but Tesla's got theirs in the back. This gentleman reversed his car in. Other vehicles have that charging port somewhere else. Yeah. Classically on the Nissan Leaf, they had a CHAdeMO port right in front, right? And I know the newer Nissan that just came out has two ports. It has a NACS port, J3400 on one side, and it's got a J1772 on the other side. So we're gonna see all these new vehicles come into market, and they're gonna continue evolving. And as a charging hardware vendor, we have to keep evolving with them. Yeah. So when I plugged this guy in, we used an adapter, but we both know those adapters are a temporary solution. And I suspect, to what Dario said earlier, as we're looking at long haul trucking, as those vehicles get delivered, we're here to meet that moment with our equipment, and we'll keep evolving with them with the cable reach that we need, and the power that we need, and the software that we need through partners. And to your question earlier with servicing those customers, who are the partners that we're going to work with to meet that moment? Well, that's the path forward to success for Autel.
Yeah, so I guess one of the questions I also had was the partnerships you have now currently and going forward. I think that landscape is always being cultivated, right?
Absolutely. As Ethan mentioned, with new verticals being electrified, you have new categories of vehicles being electrified. Now you have, VTOL, you have, autonomous, you have a variety of different configurations that these sites are going to need to be equipped with. A lot of the partnerships are not necessarily in the software space, they're not necessarily in the hardware space when it comes to the actual charger. It's more about the configuration of the site. Think about gantry mounted charging, think about, any level of configuration like pantograph, things of that. Like, I think I will look out for that type of site design coming in the near future.
Nice. So, we're standing out here obviously looking at this unit, and it's a high quality built unit. I can tell by looking at it. I think anybody can tell by looking at it. We've had a great tour here. Now, to get it to this point, I guess, again, it all starts with the voice of the customer. We got to listen to the voice of the customer and build what they want, develop the partnerships around that, market it that way. You got to have conformability around points in the car in which it has to be accessed, the whole 9 yards. But if you look at your company's, Autel Energy's methodology so far as how to manage inventory, quality, safety, functionality, the entire production line, from what we see here at Munro, we're looking at a facility that has an MRP system, an MES system, which is huge, great work instructions, quality control, C equals 0. I mean, not too many people do that. That's a level of sophistication that I applaud you guys with having. And this all blends into the fact that you're looking at a product that functions every time the customer wants it to function properly. So thank you very much. Now with that, is there anything else you want to add before we close this out?
I think it's a beautiful day, and I'm glad you were here, and it's great to meet you. And I'd just say,
Smart people too.
let's all count our blessings.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out and for allowing us to tell our story.
It was awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.